So congratulations on Ultras. It's been a real success so far. How have you found it in terms of the reception from different audiences as you've sort of been screening it?
That has been really interesting, actually, because it got quite mixed reactions. For example, in Sweden, there's a big debate around supporter culture and ultras, and the media depicts it often like almost monsters, or demonizes the subculture surrounding football. So I wanted to do something else and do something that I recognize myself in and my friends in. So obviously the reception from people who love going to football, ultras and other supporter groups, they really like the film, most of them. But then there are those who don't like supporter culture, and they don't like the film either. So
yeah, you get the two sides.
It's been highs and lows in the reactions, and that's been really interesting, and it creates great conversations, I think.
Exactly. It's nice to make something was divisive, and you get those different reactions, and people would take from it what they will from personal experience. I mean, watching this, I grew up as a football fan. I used to have a season ticket. I used to go to the football, and I remember seeing the kind of, I guess what I would call hooliganism, but I think watching Ultras, you kind of see the community sense of that. How was that? How important was that to you to sort of show both sides of it? Was it kind of, you want to make the audience have their own decision and, show the sort of both sides of football?
Yeah, I wanted to show my side, I guess. It's a subjective film, and I'm not a journalist, I'm an artist. So I don't feel that I have the responsibility to be neutral. So this is very much my view of the phenomenon. Then there also is division between hooligans and ultras. Like the hooligan firms, they are one thing. It's a subculture of its own. And ultras, there is violence involved sometimes, but it's not the main focus. Like the main focus is to create the atmosphere during the games. So that was what I wanted to focus on, and that takes most part of the film.
How did you find out a lot of these groups? Was it just through like your love of the sport? Like, how did you reach out and find these communities all over the world?
Mostly through social media, actually, because many groups have their own Instagram accounts, for example. And I also work a lot with gut feeling and intuition. And I haven't traveled a lot before in my life, and I saw the chance to explore the world through the stadiums. So I also searched for teams and groups where I wanted to go, or like in societies that I wanted to explore. So that was what led me through the world, I would say.
I'm very curious why you chose Eastbourne. Like what the UK is obviously great for kind of big level football, but why did you want to focus on that, on Eastbourne in particular, that community sort of focused team?
I knew that I wanted to focus on non-league football in England, and I just searched the internet for ultras groups for different non-league teams, and then London was a good base or a place to start, and then I searched for clubs like surrounding London, or where it wouldn't take too much time to go by train, or and then I just found the group supporting Eastbourne Town, and really liked their aesthetics and their view on support and community, and also they were one of the groups that actually responded on social media, so that's also one of the reasons.
Amazing. Throughout the film we have a voiceover sort of carrying through this. How did you go about finding the right voice to narrate that segment, and especially given it, how did you get to cover so many locations? How integral was that for you?
The only reoccurring voiceover is my own, so that's my voice leading through the film, I would say. And before this film, I made one feature documentary called "The Traffic Lights Turn Blue Tomorrow," and in that film, my voice is also very important. It's the red thread through the whole film, and I really didn't want to use my voice again in this film. I wanted to make another film.
Yeah.
But during the whole editing process, my editors kept asking about, couldn't you write a text? Couldn't you use your voice? We really need your voice.
Yeah.
So like that became part of the film in the end of the editing process. And now I'm really happy that it's there, even if I didn't want to before. But I understand now that it is important, and I think that it is important because one of the things with the film is that it's shot in very many places, and every place has like between 6 or 10 minutes, so it's not a lot of time to go really deep into every place, and and also I didn't have a lot of time to really get to know the people that I interviewed, and it's also hard interviewing people in their own language that I don't understand. It's quite complicated way of interviewing. So the thing that my voice or that my texts adds to the film is maybe a poetic layer or something that deepens the subject a bit.
Yes, definitely. Was there ever a point, because it's so striking visually, seeing the different stadiums, the artwork and the flares and everything, was there ever a point where you thought it could have been almost, a film without narration, or, it could have just been almost like, an art piece? Of course it's art, it's film. But you know what I mean? It could have just been hearing the sounds, hearing the stadium, hearing the fans. Did that ever cross your mind, not having a narration at all?
During the process with this film, I also was working with an exhibition about ultras. Ultras in North Africa was the focus for the World Culture Museum in Gothenburg. And there we had a room with only that, like only the atmosphere from different stadiums. So I got to try that there. But I knew from the beginning that in the film I wanted the voices from supporters around the world speaking in their own languages about something that is like a common interest for everyone involved.
Definitely. Did the film itself ever sort of evolve beyond what you thought it was initially imagined? Like, you sort of said there in terms of it being, possibly like a gallery space and adding your voice. Did it ever, like, whilst making it and travelling with it, did the sort of narrative in your head, did that ever change?
Yeah, making documentaries is always like that. Like, you never get what you plan, I guess. And whatever material you get is what you have to work with. So you have to be like flexible in the mind, working with it. So of course I imagined other things that I got. Like for example in Argentina, my main focus from the beginning was to focus on the economical net, or like how the people use football as an economical income. Like for example the Barra Bravas get the income from parking lots around the stadiums, or selling food or selling drugs or whatever. But in the end what the Argentina part is now about is a woman telling about how it comforts her in the grieving of her dead son. So that became very different, and I'm really happy that
you would know you might have got that if you didn't go there and speak to people.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of my favourite moments in it is when they're this sort of image keeps reoccurring about them building the big, art piece that's going to go out before the game's even kicked off, and it lasts 2 minutes and it goes straight in the bin. Like, how did you feel? Like, you're seeing that community work coming together. Like, how does that? Do you think that was a key part for you to sort of show? It's not just about that. It's just kind of, it's in the moment. They say, like, living in the moment. It doesn't matter about the photos. Was that sort of important for you to get across in that?
Yeah, I love when humans are doing stuff that is not materialistic. Like it's something else that drives it, or it's to have that common to do it, just the joy of doing stuff together, and the kick of performing it was also something that I wanted to have in the film. And for it, I think it's like fuck you to capitalism somehow.
Yes, and we love that. We love to say that. Was there anything that you felt through your perspective? I mean, obviously, traditionally, you know, I've grown up as a football fan, and I'm sure you have, like, you know, typically a very like male-dominated space. How did you find sort of entering these sort of things? Obviously, it seems quite diverse in some of the crowds. There was a lot more different sorts of people in that crowd. How did you feel sort of entering those environments going into it?
I had some prejudices, of course. I'm a human being as well, but most of my prejudices were like wrong. For example, going to Morocco, I thought that maybe the people we met there would speak more to my male teammates than to me, but that wasn't the case at all. They treated me very respectfully, like the boss of the team that I was. So I was really happy about that. I've never been afraid. The only times I've been afraid around football is when there were confrontations with police. But with the football fans, but that's also because I know the subcultural codes, of course, and I know it's just to take 2 steps to the side and then it's fine. So I think being a woman making this film helped more than it was hard, or like that I didn't seem like a threat to people. I'm also very curious and very naive, and I think that helped.
Yeah, it's a strength to sort of sometimes get the emotional stories, like with the mother. Maybe she might not have had that, you know, with someone else behind the camera. You know,
exactly. We actually interviewed her husband before, and then she sat in the back listening to him, and she just started talking all the time. She was so frustrated because she wanted to say stuff. So when we were done with her husband, we just turned the camera and asked her, could we also interview you? And then she was the one who made it to the film.
Yeah, I love that when you just find that, and that's a great thing about documentaries with that. Is there anything, I know we've sort of touched upon it already, but is there anything you hope that people get from this? Like, there's no concrete kind of way you might feel about football fans, but what do you hope people will get from it right now in this moment watching it?
I hope that other football supporters feel mirrored in the way they are not used to, and that this is something that gives strength or power to the community.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, I think that's been amazing. Yes, thank you so much for spending time chatting with us here at Nordic Watchlist, and good luck with any future projects.
Thank you for having me.